here we are with Maurice Bonamigo from Maurice Bonamigo and Associates, and he's one of the most important political managers in America. He's done like hundreds of races, not only here in America but also overseas. And well, it's such a great pleasure to have you today with us.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to have you here as well. Thank you for your time.
Oh, thank you. Well, I wanted to ask you, first of all, how can you become a successful candidate?
Well, to become a successful candidate requires a lot of hard work. As I said in the beginning, it's, running for political office is very, very exhausting. So be prepared to put in a lot of time on that. But most importantly, you have to surround yourself with good people, people that you can trust, people whose opinions that are very similar or that are in line with yours as well, and that will help take you to the next level that you need to be. That's what's critically important. But always the most important thing that most candidates don't realize, you have to have a lot of money. That's it. Without money, you can't do anything, and people, as I said earlier, or whenever I lecture, it's a fact that you may have the best ideas and the solutions for all the problems that there are out there, but unless you have the funding to help carry that message out to everybody, you're never going to go anywhere. Period.
Yeah, absolutely. Budget is so important, and after bearing in mind how important money and financial issues are for every single campaign, can you talk us a little bit about the importance of time and scheduling a good campaign? How can you time the time of the candidate, and how can you...
Right. Well, the timing for any good successful campaign, it depends on what the ratio you're looking for. But most campaigns, realistically, if you're going on for a federal funded race or for a federally elected office, let me put it that way, is that those will take 2 years to be a successful campaign, to raise the amount of money that you need to raise, to get your message out there, to be known as the front runner of the campaign. That takes a good solid 2 years. Can you get it done in less time? Yes. Can you get it done in less than a year? Maybe. That it just, you have to take a lot of variables in there. But realistically, figure a good solid 2 years to do it. And with that, if you take 2 solid good years to do it right and listen to your commanders, your consultants, campaign managers, you should turn out fine and you should win the race.
So starting as early as possible is maybe the main takeaway from your presentation. Just start as early as you can running?
Absolutely. You always want to start as early as you possibly can. Yeah, absolutely. Because what you always want to do when we take on a campaign, and I want to preface one thing, is that we do not run dirty campaigns at all. I don't believe in that. The time it's over for dirty campaigns. So you have to focus on the positive. And when you focus on the positive, people will start paying more attention to you. They'll take you as a credible person. And that's what people are looking for. They're looking for strong statesmen and strong leaderships. So consequently, by doing that in a solid 2 years cycle that I just said right here, you can get your message across on that. You can develop up your voter vault, so to speak. You will do fine in the race at that point. And then also, too, another factor is, too, by being out front and getting your message out, you will play an intimidation process. And that's a reality. That's not fighting dirty. It's if somebody, let's say hypothetically you're running for a political office and you've started out 2 years, and everybody knows who you are, and you raised a lot of money, and you've got this movement behind you, which is what you want to create, is a movement. Then the reality is, if I'm looking to run for a political office, or if Daniel's looking to run for a political office, they say, no, sorry, I don't think I can beat this guy. Your chances are any potential challengers are going to drop out, or they won't even contest you because it's a lost cause. And I say that to candidates that call me all the time. People want to say, well, I want to get into this race. Okay, that's nice. I've talked to somebody in California, and he's Latino. He's a nice guy. He's brilliant. He's good looking, and he's got what it takes. But the reality is he's running against Dianne Feinstein. Dianne Feinstein has $6 million in your campaign chest. He has $100,000. Who won the race today? What are you doing? You can't do it.
So does this mean that Mitt Romney is going to win no matter what happens in Michigan?
Never say never. I hope he would. I'm from Michigan originally. That's where my mother's from. So I would like to see Mitt Romney win Michigan. That is his home state. That's where he was born. His dad was a very successful governor there. He was very well respected in Michigan, did a lot for Michigan, and he's well respected internationally as well. So I think that, can Mitt Romney can go ahead and win the nomination? Even if he loses Michigan, hypothetically, the answer could be yes. There's still a lot of variables on that. I personally think that Mitt Romney is getting some bad advice from his consultants. That's me personally. Am I a strong supporter of Mitt Romney? I've always been a strong supporter of Mitt Romney. I hope he does win Michigan. I think he probably will. Over the last debate and the last Wednesday night, I think it was, like that. He did very well. So now that's boosted up his polls in there. But a lot can still happen, too. If you look at the last election cycle, when it was Obama-Clinton, at this time, they were still fighting each other. Clinton was ahead. So this is what happens every 4 years in a presidential campaign. Whoever it is, be it the Democrats start fighting for the seat or the Republicans are fighting for the seat, this is exactly what happens. This time frame is going to be, they're battling it out, constant. And so you won't really know an answer probably for another month, who the nomination is. Now, that being said, I think that we need to go back to brokerage conventions like they used to be years ago, not do away with the primaries in the United States, because it's just a waste, and people are sick and tired of it already. Back, I remember as early as the 60s when they had brokerage conventions and watching it on television, and you had the Democratic convention, you had the Republican convention, but nobody ever knew till the end of the convention who that nominee was going to be. And I think that's the way you should go back. I don't know how the primary started or what came into, but it's time for that to go back. Because you're wasting so much money on dirty politics, dirty campaigning right now. That's all fighting each other. It's a waste.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was interesting to see how was the primary in Florida. I mean, I think it was 9 out of 10 commercials were negative. And it was like a very strange primary campaign, very aggressive, very violent between the candidates. So do you think that all this is going to have is going to come as a big expense for the Republican Party in terms of coming together around one candidate at the end of the day in November?
At the end of the day, first of all, I want to say one thing. I'm not a Republican. I'm a solid conservative. There's a difference. A conservative is an ideology. It doesn't belong to a party. There's a difference there. Most conservatives, I will vote Republican. Okay? But not all Republicans are conservative. There you have it. But at the end of the day, I will vote a Republican for a president, today. Tomorrow might be a different story, or years down the line. But it depends on who the most conservative candidate is, in my viewpoint. That's who I will always support. So, consequently, this is what's happened, and you have a valid point. There is so much money being wasted in campaigns, and it's all negative. That doesn't get you anywhere. And people are really tired of it. I haven't watched one debate on television. Why do I watch it? My mind's already made up. This is ridiculous. I don't want to see these people sit there and fight like girls. It's exactly what they are. They're like a bunch of bitchy housewives. It's almost like something you'd see on a reality TV show. Exactly. The housewives of, the White House, basically. They're all a bunch of battling each other.
Yeah, I mean, it's really interesting to see the extent what maybe American politics have become much of a show rather than something political or professional or whatever. As a political manager, how is playing like in what is playing in this field like? I mean, it's difficult, it's easy, because at the end of the day, you need to make your candidate appear under a good light in the television, and you need to be very aware of the media and of all this echo chamber and the big show that American politics is. How can you work as a professional manager, as a political manager in this difficult environment?
It's simple. Stay focused on what you're doing. That's it. Stay focused on what you're doing. Don't. I don't fight dirty campaigns. I stay away from that. I welcome, mud thrown at us. Absolutely, I welcome that all the time because I'm good at turning that around and making that person look stupid in the media and make us shine. But the important thing is that we do in our campaign is that we keep our message out there all the time. We ignore the negative. Concentrate on the positive. Don't acknowledge that. Don't give them, any, what's the word I'm looking for? Don't give them the dignity to that stupid, message that they issued out. Don't even respond to that. Stay focused on what your message is and reaching out to your candidates. Those people will respect you for it, and that's what they're looking for. People are sick and tired of politics. If you think politics are dirty, you're wrong. They're filthy. That's it. You're in the business of whores and prostitutes. That's all it is, and snakes. And I'm right in the middle of it. But
that's amazing. Okay, well, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for answering our questions. It's such a great pleasure to have you here at this conference, and we really hope to see you around next year.
I think so. I think so. You'll see me more. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you.